Yo, 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 Salam nerds. I am Neve, aka Watch with Neve, and I'm here with my co-host Jazz, aka Sir Jazz of Houston.
Sir Jazz of Houston.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
love the royal title there.
do you like that royal title?
I
Actually, Jazz,
do.
can you put your mic up a little bit? It's actually pretty low. I don't
A
know why
little
that
bit.
happened.
How about
All right.
now?
Yep, perfect, perfect.
Cool, cool, cool.
Well, listen, Salam nerds and also Shalom nerds because it is Passover. So shout
It
out to our
is.
Jewish listeners.
Sag
That
Shemesh,
is
yeah.
Yes, we saw some people on our timeline celebrating Passover, and they were cooking some really cool stuff. Like Emma, she was cooking up all sorts of stuff for Passover. It looks really good.
Yummy.
Yep, yep. And listen, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we have commercials on our podcast now. Did you see that, Jazz?
I did not see that, but that's really cool.
Yeah, so I was listening on Spotify and there are commercials on our podcast, and we have officially made 25 cents.
Hey, we
Uh,
made it.
I know, I know. So you know what we got to do? We got to coordinate when our commercials should be put in there. So we might have to like start coordinating segments of the show so that we can insert commercials so they don't just go in random places.
No, that's true. Yeah, I don't like that. So, but whatever. It's growing pains. We'll deal with it.
Yeah, yeah. And it's not that bad. It's only one commercial. So it's like 30 seconds out of your day, guys. Just listen to it. You don't got to order anything. You don't got to buy anything. Just listen to
Help us
it.
out.
Help us out. Help us out. We're growing. We're the little guys. Well, speaking of little guys, let's talk about the Mandalorian and our little homie Grogu.
Grogu.
He is a knight. He
He's
is
a
a
knight.
knight. Yep. Sir Grogu of what? Where is he from?
I mean, we
Of
don't even know
Mandalore?
really. Yeah.
Maybe Mandalore. Sir Grogu of Mandalore.
I guess yeah, that is his home now. So,
Right?
well,
Wow.
once they retake Mandalore, it will be his home.
Once they retake it and once he walks the creed, yes, he will be Sir Grogu of Mandalore. That was really, really cool. Lots of surprises this episode. Lots of surprises.
I guess it would be Sir Grogu of Plazir 15 because that's the planet he's on when he was knighted.
Oh, that would make sense. That would make sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. That was really, really cool. I really enjoyed this episode. What about you, Jazz?
I thought it was great. I know a lot of people online are like, "Why do we have this other side quest? Why is this, happening over and over?" It's
Because
like,
it's
no,
fun. Because
be
it's fun.
patient. It'll all be worth it. I promise. In fact, this whole little bit of Grogu being knighted,
Yeah.
it may not seem like a big deal, but I have a feeling this could really be a big deal, like not too far in the future.
I
Yeah,
agree.
like
I agree.
it seems really small, but he's a knight of this planet. If the New Republic ever comes in and does something, or if a different band of misfits comes in and like pirates, well, Grogu can be called on. He is a true knight of that. I guess is it a monarchy still? No, it's a
I
democracy now. But
give it democracy,
like
yes.
yeah, like he's a knight of Plazir 15. So if something were to happen, he has to come and answer the call, and I think that's going to come into play later on.
That's really cool. Well, this episode was a lot of fun. That's
Hmm.
the best way to describe this episode. Fun because there were a lot of cameos, a lot of special guests. Speaking of special guests, we do not have a guest, so just me and Jazz today, and that is because we are celebrating Ramadan. So we're doing our episodes pretty late, and it's hard to get a guest at 12 a.m. So it is super late for me, a little bit later for Jazz. So it's hard to find a guest unless they're in like the West Coast. And majority of the people we get are not on the West Coast, so we'll have to try to get some more. But it'll probably be only 2 more weeks, and then we can go back to our regular schedule.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, we will have a guest for you this week for our Love Is Blind episode tomorrow, which comes out at 12, and it'll be Kirpa from The Bachelor. So that'll be really, really
Ooh,
fun. So
glad to
don't
have her
forget,
back.
yeah, don't forget to join us there.
Very
All
excited.
right, let's talk about this episode of The Mandalorian. First of all, talk about a story out of left field. There's a little love story going on here, a little Romeo and Juliet that came out of nowhere. The Viceroy's son, and then this
From
captain,
Mon Calamari, yeah.
yeah, calamari right on the nose.
Yeah, they're not even trying to hide it, like what they're going with there.
Oh man, I thought that was really funny. But like, she's the captain of a ship, and she's just in the back of the tank and just chilling there. And then all of a sudden, the Mandalorians come in there, and they're like, "Hey, we been hired to come take this kid back." And he comes in running and like, "No, I don't want to go. I want to stay with my lover."
I mean, it was cute, right?
Yeah,
And I don't know why, and like, it's just my messed up mind. I was really hoping for a kiss there. It just didn't happen between like, what is it?
their
Some
tentacles and their
Yeah,
whiskers.
right. In the fish head. I was really hoping some like grotesque kiss happening, but like, it just didn't happen. I was very disappointed.
Chaz, what is wrong with you? They're puppets, for God's sakes.
Hey man, let the puppets kiss, okay?
All right, all right. But I think that story's gonna come back around. I don't know when or where, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see that story develop somewhere else. They can't just throw that in there for nothing. There's got to be something in there for that story.
For sure, for sure. That is definitely going to come back at some point.
Yeah. Well, the Mandalorians are just taking out these jobs, and they were kind of being jerks about it, right? They're like, were they being jerks? They're kind of just like, hey, we're loyal. They paid us first, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do our job.
Right.
They didn't kill anybody, so hey.
I mean, I don't hate it, but like, it was just weird. Like, I felt weird with them, you know?
Yeah, but then we see them doing these jobs, and that kind of hints at the episode that we had right before this, where Moff Gideon was freed by some Mandalorians.
Yeah, that's interesting with the way this whole thing lined up, because if this was the group that freed him, then that means that Bo-Katan, who is now leading this group, will have to take a lot of the heat for it. So,
Oof.
yeah.
But they're not fans of Moff Gideon, so it's surprised that they would actually, free him. But then again, Mandalorians are true to their word. I guess if they have a job, they have to do it, right? The only person that's never done that is that we know of is Jin with little baby Grogu.
Yep.
I don't know. So it was unique. It was unique. So we're gonna talk about that. All right. So the person in charge of the Mandalorian is now Axe Wolf.
Axe Wolves. Yep.
Yep. So he basically is taking part in all these jobs that they're doing, and then we see the Mandalorian and Bo-Katan go onto this world to try to find these Mandalorians that kind of left. They left her fleet.
Mercenaries.
The mercenaries, right? They get there and they see these dark like R2s and a dark C3PO, which look kind of hella cool in black. I gotta say, they look pretty dope in black.
That was definitely a little thing for the fans.
Yeah,
it was a callback to the original trilogy there.
that's really cool. And they walk into a party, and who happens to be at this party but Jack Black and Lizzo?
That sounds like a really fun party to me.
Yo, I would want to be at a party with Jack Black and Lizzo. That was so good. That was such a fun thing to experience. I was like, hell, first of all, Lizzo's not an actress. She did a great job. Great job
She
on
was
Lizzo.
fantastic as the Duchess, yeah.
Right? And Jack Black is with them. I just watched the Mario Brothers movie with Jack Black, and we're gonna do a review on it. But it was so good, and Jack Black is a big reason why that movie is really, really good. Don't worry about what the critic says or what Rotten Tomato says. Super Mario Brothers is a fun time. Take your kids, you'll have a good time. It was super good.
Cool. I'll go check it out tomorrow.
Yeah. So yeah, the Duchess and Jack Black are chilling there, and they're like, yes, we'll take you to see this fleet, but you kind of do a job for us first, right? And before she did that, she goes, but first, can I see the baby? I would like to see the baby. I love when people
so
call the baby. And the baby just jumped up and grabbed some fishes. It was really, really cute. Din Djarin was like, no, he doesn't like going to strangers. And like,
he just jumps into Lizzo's arms. Like,
first, who wouldn't jump into Lizzo's arms?
also very true, yeah.
Love Lizzo. Oh man, that was really, really cool. So they tell them the story about how the droids are malfunctioning. And because they used to be part of Yeah, what were they part of the Empire? They were part of what? What were they part of? Something, right?
So
Separatists?
Captain Bombardier
Yeah.
was part of the Empire.
Empire, right? And then he
Yeah,
like
he got
he
rehabbed, same way we've seen it happen. Like he was part of
yep.
the amnesty program, and then he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go to this planet and make him part of the New Republic."
Yep.
And instead, he ended up marrying the
The Duchess.
princess. Yeah, yeah, the
Hey.
Duchess, right? And instead, here we are, like with the Mandalorians as their military, even though they're not allowed to have military since he
Right.
was, rehabilitated.
Yeah. So the planet cannot have an army. They can hire these mercenaries, but they couldn't hire them to defeat the droids. Uh, and for some reason, they were like, okay, but they invited Din Djarin and Bo-Katan, and they didn't take away their weapons
Nope.
because their weapons are their culture. Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
nice
Loophole.
loophole, love it, love that. So I thought that was really really cool. Um, so I thought that was pretty cool. And they talk about all these droids that are malfunctioning. They're doing all this stuff. And then Jindarn was like, "Yeah, you had me at battle droids. Like, I'll go, I'll go fuck them up. I don't give a shit."
Right?
Someone said, "I don't like the way Jindarn says droid. It looks like he uses the hard R."
That's funny.
Jindarn's got a little racism in him when it comes to
He
droids, man.
does. And it's so funny because, like, what, 2 episodes ago, he was like, I need IG-11 back.
I know,
No other droid.
but he only trusts that one. It's kind of like you're one of the good ones. Jindar's got some problematic stuff with him, man. That's
Yeah, he
not cool.
does.
He's
You're
a little
right.
problematic. And then who do we see controlling all these droids and stuff? But
The legendary.
Christopher Lloyd. That was wild. Bananas. I did not expect to see that.
I
I
was
was like,
actually a little disappointed with that.
really? Why?
Well, we'll get to it at the end. I think his story and his character should have been a lot more for what Christopher Lloyd represents, and I feel like they did him a disservice almost.
I would disagree with you, but I'll tell you why I would disagree with you. So we'll get to that later.
Okay.
All right. So they go and they talk about how they can't just shut off all these droids because society itself would crumble if
Mm-hmm.
they did that. Which is not too far from how we live right now. Imagine like the planet just like completely went without Wi-Fi and electronics for a day. Like we would also like be devastated as a society. Crime everywhere, so much stuff happening. Oh, the cameras are down. Let's rob people.
Mm-hmm.
It would be crazy. So like it's kind of a I would say a double-edged sword, right? Like electronics and technology gives us so much, but we get so dependent on it that we can't do simple things like calculations because like we don't like our teachers used to say like you're not gonna have a calculator everywhere you go. Well, you know what, Miss Ham? What do you have to say now? Right. But again, like that's very dangerous because we can't do math. It's wild.
I remember it was a couple of years ago. There was this virus that went out on the web called WannaCry, and every Windows computer that wasn't like up to date, like it was like, Windows 7 instead of Windows 8 or 10, all those computers, like they were locked down with ransomware. And in 4 hours, they caused like hundreds of millions of dollars worth of damage until one researcher found the kill switch for it and just shut the whole thing down, which is remarkable in its own right that somebody programmed a kill switch into this thing. But that's exactly what happened. Like for 4 hours, right? I know there were hospitals in the UK that had to turn patients away. They couldn't do surgeries. I know like brokerages on Wall Street had to shut down. Like it was wild what happened for these 4 hours. And we don't really talk about it anymore. But yeah, it caused like millions, maybe billions of dollars in damages.
Yeah. You know what else reminded me of? Oh, Wally.
Yeah.
With all the
This
fat
is a
people.
lot like Wally. Yep.
Right? We're gonna turn to society like Wally. I just know it. But
That's
actually,
the scary part.
you know what, man? I disagree. I don't think we're going to become a society like Wally because we are too vain. We're too vain with our looks and stuff. We're always going to have people who are going to work out and try to look good and have amazing bodies. So I think our vanity might be our savior in some of these situations.
You know what? I'll take it.
All right. So let's go back. So this becomes almost like a detective show. This
It was a
episode,
lot like CSI,
right?
yeah.
It's like CSI. They're going around like dun dun.
Right?
So they're going around and they're asking for clues and they're looking for like what happened. And they asked the Ugnaughts,
Hmm.
and they were not trying to talk to Bo-Katan. They were like, Psh, "We do everything perfect. Don't try to diss us." And
Right?
then Jin, who in season one spent a lot of time with one,
Hmm.
know how to communicate. You gotta talk up their ego, and you gotta make sure you say "I have spoken" after every word, every sentence,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And then they were like, okay, fine, we'll help you. So they give them the thing, and they go looking for these battle droids. Uh, which was really cool to see because we haven't seen a lot of these since the Clone Wars, and that was
Yeah.
pretty exciting. What are your
I thought
thoughts
this
on
was a
that?
plot hole actually here.
Really? Why?
Because how did the Ugnaughts know that this next droid is going to malfunction when it was only the droids who had that one specific batch of Nepanthe, right?
Yeah.
How did they know it was going to be one of these?
Mm, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a plot hole for me.
Guess that is a little bit of a plot hole. If
Yeah.
somebody listening knows, let us know because I wasn't paying attention. Because I, I I don't know if they said it was going to be that droid or in that area. But even
They
then,
said it
I
was going
don't.
to be in the area, but like, how would you narrow it down like that?
I don't know. Jin just started kicking all of them.
Yeah, right.
You know what it reminded me of? You ever see those videos of Boston Dynamics where they're just like kicking the freaking machines and they come back
Yeah.
up? That's what it looked like. That one robot had enough, right?
And just like
Uh,
swung back and like, oh my
yeah,
god, just like swung him across the face and he went flying. Like,
I
it was
know that
so great.
that robot was like, "Fuck around and find out, man."
Hmm. Straight up.
I thought that was really, really funny. And then they had this like little chase scene, and they like ran down, and they finally caught the battle droid. I thought that was really cool. You see, like, first of all, I don't know what's been happening this season, but this season is the Bo-Katan show. It is not the Mandalorian show. Well, she is the Mandalorian, so technically it is still the Mandalorian
Hmm.
because she is one, but it is not a Din Djarin show. It is Bo-Katan show, and I am not mad at it. I
I'm not mad
am not
either.
mad at it at all. You see her take down the droid with a double shot, looking badass. Really, really cool. And
Apparently,
then,
people on the internet though are really mad about it. So
really, why?
because they want more Din Djarin and Grogu.
I mean, I am happy with the amount of Din Djarin and Grogu we are getting. They're in every episode.
Right? Yeah. Like I don't see a problem with it.
I don't have anything wrong with it either. It's not like, well, I guess. I was gonna say it's not like the Boba Fett show where there's like 2 episodes of the Mandalorian and they don't show Boba Fett in them at all,
Right. Yeah.
right?
But then again, people hated Boba Fett, and so therefore the Mandalorian coming in saved the show for them. It's like
Yeah.
they really like Din Djarin or Pedro Pascal or Grogu. Like they don't want anything else.
I really disagree with that. I think the Mandalorian is in every episode, and maybe he isn't the main person or the main story, but he is there for the whole thing.
Hmm.
There's a lot of shows where the side character gets more airtime. It happens in every show. Like you go to How I Met Your Mother, uh, Barney was such a great character that they started doing several episodes focusing on Barney. It
Yep.
happens in a lot of shows. I don't know. I think that's kind of lame. All right, so they get this little spark pad, and
It's a matchbox but for robots.
oh, a matchbox for robots. Okay. So they did this, and the place that they go to is called the Resistor, which is a droid bar, which I thought is hilarious. Like
That's
as
very
an electrical
clever.
engineer, I really like that pun. That's pretty good. The Resistor, the
Hmm.
path of least resistance, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
It
man,
was
that
a
was really
very
cool.
well placed pun, and like yeah, for
I
the nerds, you'd be like, ha, I get it.
I loved it. I loved it. All right. So then they go to this bar, and they're like, well, they don't get a lot of our kind here. So, and it gets really all quiet. And then Din Djarin starts being racist again with the droids, and it's like trying to threaten these freaking droids who haven't done anything. These poor droids. They're just there having like oil and a margarita or whatever they're doing.
But can you argue the effectiveness of his method?
I would say so because you know what? That's not what got them to opened up to him. They opened up to him because they were like, "Yo, we don't like these people giving us bad press. We want
Yeah.
to help,
Mm-hmm.
right?" As you know, as Muslims, you can kind of agree. Like we don't want like the terrorists giving us bad press. We don't want to support them.
Yeah.
I
And I
guess.
it was interesting though, man, because like in our real world, right, we are afraid of robots taking over human jobs. In
Yeah,
this world, the robots are afraid of humans taking over robot jobs.
that's
It's like,
so funny.
okay, all right.
That's so.
I
They,
can't relate, but okay.
they took our nerves. Oh man, Chat GPT wrote this episode.
It's true. Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny. So yeah, the droids start to help them, and Mandalorian is like, all right, I guess you guys might be some of the good ones again because he's still
Yeah.
not over it.
Oh my god, he's so
Uh,
racist here. It's not even funny.
he is. Oh man. So then they talk about like all the droids that have basically been doing all of these malfunctions were the ones that got this way, like what Nepentine in their drinks?
Nepanthe.
Nepanthe in their
That's the
drink.
name of the drink. It's like a lubricating oil, but they also have programming updates in there.
Mm.
Yeah, and so like robots are gonna take care of themselves, but also update their software as well as their physical hardware. And so yeah, one batch of this stuff was contaminated.
Very good detective story. I like that. And they said there were many droids in there, and they were changing the chain code or something, or some kind of coding in there.
Okay, so chain code, think of it as blockchain, but for your identity.
Got it, got it. Like a
Yeah,
social security blockchain.
right. Yeah, very similar to that. And so the Nepanthe, it was contaminated with these nanobots that essentially reprogrammed them to go haywire. And who ordered it? That's actually one really cool thing about like blockchain and whatnot. Everything's
Mhm.
verifiable and traceable. And so
Mm.
whoever ordered the Nepanthe that had the contaminated nanobots in them, they left a signature, and it came back to our very own Christopher Lloyd.
Ah, interesting. Interesting.
Hmm.
Wow, very cool. I always thought blockchain stuff wasn't traceable because people lose like Bitcoin and crypto money, and there's no way to trace where it went.
So that's correct because you're not tracing a person's identity, you're tracing a person's wallet address.
Mm.
Right. So the
Okay.
wallet address is always traceable. We just don't know who that wallet belongs to.
Ooh, crypto is so scary. I don't know what is. I don't know how that's gonna work, but I bought it just in case. You know, I got FOMO. I was like,
uh,
if everyone's gonna get rich, I want in. But then
I
I'm like,
sold it. I sold
you
it like
sold it.
3 years ago. Yeah.
Really? I'm still
Mhm.
up, but like I got it really early, so I'm like, all right,
Dude,
whatever.
I got in 2016 and I sold in 2021. I made a
Ooh,
very decent profit on it.
ooh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
That's why you're gonna sponsor Salam Nerds. All right, all
I
right.
do sponsor Salam Nerds.
That's true. All right. Um, let's hear your thoughts about Christopher Lloyd now that we're here.
Well, actually, one thing I want to talk about before that
Okay.
was that medical droid went haywire because they were like, "Hey, is that code still active if we extract it?" And it's like, "Well, you're gonna find out, buddy."
Oh man, a lot of fucking around and finding out in this
Mhm.
episode.
Yeah, the droid just went haywire. He had like the lasers that was right. They were ready to like cut everything up, and
Yeah.
then Din Djarin had to use the dark saber to slice it in half. Otherwise, they would have died.
Oh yeah, the return of the dark saber.
Hmm.
All right, very cool.
And it was cool because we're gonna talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then the lady at the computer was like, "Who is behind this?" And we see Christopher Lloyd.
Hmm.
And then they go and confront him. So before we talk about him confronting him, let me know what your thoughts about Christopher Lloyd because you thought it wasn't a good cameo.
Yeah, I feel like he could have been somebody so much bigger in this universe, and this almost felt like a throwaway role in the whole grand scheme of things.
Okay, so I'm gonna disagree with you because that's where I thought you were going, and that's because I met Chris last year, and I saw him at the Black to the Future panel.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's not 100%. It was a struggle for him to
Oh
talk
man.
in sentences. It was a struggle for him to move around. When I saw him in this episode, the first thing I thought was, oh man, I wonder how many takes that took because he's up there, man. He is very, very old. And Christopher Lloyd, when I met him at a Comic-Con this year, man was struggling. He sometimes didn't know what he was. He didn't understand the question. It was a little bit sad to see him, but he's old. He's really, really old.
He is.
Um, and that's why I feel like they did that. To have him as a character that you expect to be in a bigger role, he might not be around for something like that, So I don't know. I feel like it was good. He's in the universe. It's probably like a big deal for him. Maybe he just wanted to be in the Star Wars universe. He's a big fan, and they got him in and out.
Well, now that I know that, I am glad he's in Star Wars, and this is okay.
Yes. All right.
Yeah, because
All
like
right.
again, like I still think of him as Christopher Lloyd from the past and all the roles he's been in. He's
Yeah.
phenomenal in everything, and this felt a little less than that. But then if that's because of his health, then shit, I am so sad. But at the same time, I'm glad he's here.
Yeah. Like let me look up how old he is. He's got to be like in his 90s. 84 years old. So he's 84 years old. He's up
Damn.
there.
Mm-hmm. You back?
Yeah, I'm here. Where are you?
Okay, I'm here.
Okay.
I shut off my video to help you out.
Okay. I guess we're both off the video.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the internet, man. Oh
Yeah, I don't
well.
know. All right. So next we have is uh they solve the case and they go back and Grogu's over there helping Lizzo cheat in like a game of like, croquet or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then they tell them that, they found the problem and it was because the guy was a separatist and he did not like, the new person who's with Lizzo, the captain, and how he was part of the empire. He was like, Count Dooku was right. He was like all
Dear
about like
God.
that was wild. That came out of nowhere.
I mean, I never thought I'd hear Count Dooku's name like this again, but here we are.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, I mean, are they setting up more Thrawn? Maybe. I don't know, but I'm excited.
I am excited too. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Uh Next they ended up giving the key to Plaza 15 to, the Mandalorians.
Yeah, Bo-Katan and Din Djarin. Yep, they
Yep.
both now have the key to Plaza 15,
And then they
which
knighted
is
Grogu.
yeah, Sir Grogu.
So everybody gets a win. Grogu didn't have to do anything. He was just chilling.
He was having a great time. Just playing games, eating great food, and now he's a knight. Must
He's
be
like
nice being royalty.
he might be the first person to I would say be knighted for just for being cute.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I'm okay with it, and we have to call him Sir Grogu from now on.
Sir Grogu, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then Bo-Katan and Din Djarin go to reclaim the fleet. And then they challenge Axe Wolf. And he's like, all right, let's fight. And then they fight. And then
It was such a badass fight,
it
man.
was
Like
pretty
all
good.
the gadgetry,
With the
them using the
rockets,
jetpacks, like
the drop
everything
kick.
about it.
Yo, it was really, really cool. I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. And like the shield
Um,
that Bo-Katan had, like so
yeah,
perfect,
she had a little.
amazing, amazing.
All right. And then she wins. So she wins.
Yeah,
And
she kicks his ass, and then she like didn't kill him, which is also remarkable.
yep. And then he yielded, and basically she was like, I want to take over the fleet. And the fleet's still kind of like, nah, I mean, you won, but like, nah. And then he's
Are
like,
you
how are
really
they
the
going to
leader?
exactly, right? And then he's like, well, what you should have done is beaten him for the saber. And then Din Djarin was like, well, here, you can have it. And everyone was like, that's sweet. That's sweet, honey. Bless your
That's
heart.
cute.
That's not how it works. And we all knew that from like last season.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but Din Djarin dropped his knowledge on us, which happened, and we didn't even expect it. But he was captured and defeated by somebody and lost the sword.
This was like what, episode 2 or 3, where they were on Mandalore in the
Yeah, in
mines.
episode
Yeah.
2. And
Mm-hmm.
then she picked up the sword and defeated everybody with the sword. Therefore, the sword belongs to her.
Yeah. I believe this is the transitive property in math.
Yeah, and then and I love the way he goes like, "Is this not like count? Is this not the way?" And they're like, "Well, damn, buddy boy, you got us there."
They all agreed to it. Yep.
And then you see Bo-Katan take the sword, and she's like, "Well, I'll be."
Yeah. And here's one thing I
Yo,
found very
that was
interesting.
really cool.
Yeah, back in episode 2
Uh,
when this all happened, right? Um when she picked up
yeah,
the dark saber, I was like, why isn't it heavy for her? And it was in that moment I knew that
yeah,
she had rightfully earned it. Because if it was, still Din Djarin's, right? That blade should have been much heavier and she shouldn't be able to wield it the way she did. But no, she took
ah,
it. She won it. And she was able to slice up that mechanical spider thing so easily because it belonged to her in that moment. We just didn't know it.
yes, dude, chills. I got chills when like Din Djarin brought that up, and then you realize that like she now is the leader of all of Mandalore. She's got
Hmm.
the Children of the Watch behind her. She's got the dark saber, and she got the fleet. Like, yo, it's
The
her
Night Owls.
show. This
Yep.
was her show. Night Owls, yeah.
Hmm.
This was
Yep.
her show. I was really, really excited. How do people not like this episode? Tell me that. This was so dope.
Bro, you know how people are stupid online. Like, they want more Din Djarin and Grogu. They don't care about Bo-Katan. Why would they care about a woman?
Ah, idiots.
Yeah.
Idiots.
Like, straight up, she's like one of those badass characters of our time, and people just do not care. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm done with the internet. It's fine. We can move on.
Whatever, man. It was great to see that. And like
Hmm.
I'm just so happy. And now I can't wait to see them take back Mandalore. But this is episode 6. So we only got 2 more episodes to take back Mandalore. So it's probably not going to happen in this season. And there's also the story about, that scientist who got his brain wiped and, what happened there. So they've got a lot to cover in 2 episodes.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to take back Mandalore this season, or it may happen at the very end of episode 8, but like barely. Um, I really do think this whole season is like a setup for the next few seasons, and we're going to see a lot more exciting action and adventure coming on.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at this season to be a good plot-driven Bo-Katan story season. I have no
Hmm.
issues with that. I loved it. And the show is called The Mandalorian. It's not called Din Djarin. And they are all the Mandalorians. So I am totally
Facts.
fine with that.
Hmm. I'm very excited, man. And this whole season's been great for like the people who care about like the Star Wars lore. It
Yeah.
expanded on the lore quite a bit, and so we see a lot going on with this entire season. I mean, I just cannot wait to see more of this stuff.
Same.
Cool.
Love it. All right. So what do you think is going to happen next?
I don't know, man. I know we're gonna have to go back to the Dr. Shepard and see how that goes, but beyond that, I know nothing.
I know nothing, Jon Snow.
Hmm. I know
All right.
nothing here.
I agree, man. So we'll see. But overall, I really love this episode. A lot of changes to the storylines, and it's going to be great. And I can't wait to cover it next week.
It's like pure Star Wars, right? Like, yes, Star
Yeah.
Wars can be serious. Yes, there's a lot of action. Yes, there's a lot of emotions, right? But then every now and then in Star Wars, you'll have a goofy moment, which this episode was just kind of goofy if you really think about it, right? The
Yeah, it
whole
was
love story
fun.
with Lizzo, Jack
Yeah.
Black. I mean, the plotline with Christopher Lloyd. Like, yeah, it's fun. It's goofy and it's Star Wars, and I love it.
Yeah, Star Wars should be fun. Star Wars isn't The Boys. You're not supposed to see like rated R dark stuff, man. If that's what you want, like you're not watching Star Wars. You don't know Star Wars if that's what you want.
Right,
Also,
exactly.
they gave you a dark story, and that was Andor, and you didn't watch that either. So what the hell?
And oh my god, it's such a great show.
I know, I know. All right. Well, that's what we got for this episode, man. Thank you guys for watching. And until next time, guys, salam nerds.
Peace.